All right, boys, we'll be live in just a few minutes. Hello, 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 hello. What's up, everybody? How's it going? I feel like I'm a little too much this way. I should be a bit more this way, innit? More central. Hey, you're never gonna see that stream from Steve. How's it going, everyone? MBG, the best YouTuber by far. What's he done now? Oh, what's he done now? I'm good, Bullets. I'm good. Had a good working day today. Finally, once in a long. It's been a while since I've had one of those, and got some more Death Stranding in. You know, Sony does like looking after me. You know, thank you very much, Sony, for the review code, which I am trying to get through. Game is long though. Brandon, I heard it's once again dead. What I don't get right is why everyone messages me via DM. Why is Xbox is doing this and this and this? Like, what am I supposed to do about it? What am I supposed to do about it? Yeah, this movie is really good. I thought I'd like instead of putting video game footage on for you guys, I thought I'd put some movie footage on so you guys can check it out. It's in a really weird way. I'm actually having a lot of fun with this game, although it's not looking as smooth as it is on my PC, and I don't know why. The footage ran perfectly fine on my stream, but it looks really stuttery here. What's real bad? Buffering? You shouldn't be getting buffering. Yeah, I had no idea what I was doing at the beginning. As it's evidently clear. But it's interesting, right? Because of course I'm trying to run through rocks. I'm trying to find the quickest path. Look, I know the layoffs are going to come up, so I'm going to open up with the layoffs, alright? Let's just open up with the layoffs, get this one out of the way, because, quite frankly, this might sound insensitive. No one cares. I'm sorry that they've lost their jobs, but no one knows these people. No one knows why they've been let off. No one knows the business decision as to why. The only time it's a big commotion is when Microsoft lays off people. Bent Studios lays off 40 people, no one cares. Apple lays off people, no one cares. Amazon laid off, what, 10,000 people? No one cared. Microsoft lays off 300 people. The Armageddon is coming. It happens. It's business. At the end of the day, it sucks. You know, it is a thing. I don't see the big deal about it. You know, it's the same cycle over and over again. Everyone else lays off people. No one cares. Microsoft lays off 3 people. The Armageddon is coming. Ragnarok is coming. It's just whatever. I'm sorry for the people that lost their jobs. I do, sympathize with them. No one wants to lose their job, but at the end of the day, AI is going to do that. It's just a fact. AI is going to lose jobs, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. I'm not saying all of these are AI. Apparently, a lot of it is the legal team that's being let go. So, whatever. I was being pedantic. I mean, the Game Pass numbers are mythical, right? No one really knows them. The only data we have is from 2022. Wait, what? Okay, I haven't changed it yet. I really should. But thank you for the sub. I appreciate it. But no, it's like, you know, no one knows the Game Pass numbers. You know, if you look at the 2022 stats, 35 million was without Xbox Live Gold. If you add Xbox Live Gold, then you're looking at 45 million. But then you've got Sarah Bond, well, PR saying 35 million. Does that include Xbox Live or not? Who knows? No one knows. But if we're looking at the latest numbers that we actually have factually, it's 45 million. Where we go from there, no one knows, because they don't reveal the numbers. I think you're one short, Steve. I think it was 6. I just wanted to cut it in half because it just looked better. I mean, there's definitely more than one. I think we can agree with that one. And considering almost every PlayStation fan has Game Pass, you know, at least the ones on social media, that's a good few. Oh, Paul, you can hear me. I know you can hear me. Yeah. The 34 million was without gold. I know Tom Warren said it was with gold, but it's not. It was without gold, because that makes sense. You're not gonna go on a business update and give wrong figures, right? It just doesn't make sense. But it makes sense to keep core separate to Xbox Game Pass, right? Because it's not really the same thing. Even though they are still calling it Game Pass, it is separate because it doesn't have access to the direct catalog. But if you combine them, then you're looking at about 45. You're probably closer to 50 million now with last year's Call of Duty. Corps are dumb if they think we're gonna pay 80 plus for. Well, here's the thing. Microsoft has over, what, 20,000 employees? I think last checked it was about 23,000 employees globally. And between 2010 and 2020, they increased their workforce by double. And obviously during the boom period, it went up even more, by 4,000 or 5,000. Then they had the extra stuff from Activision Blizzard, which didn't help, right? They had all of that stuff that Bobby Kotick employed, so they had to get rid of all of those people as well, because reasons. You know, it's business. I don't want to. There's nothing we can say or do you're never going to know the true reasons as to why people are being laid off. For all you know, a department could literally be shut down, and then there's nowhere to place those people because the department was underperforming. It doesn't matter if they're $1 trillion company. They're $1 trillion company because they look after their money. End of story. 500 million Game Pass subscribers? Mate, if that happened, Satya Nadella would be breakdancing over at bloody New York Square. I've been laid off too, Paul. It happens. I've never been fired. I've been laid off. It's different. My role was made redundant. But the point I'm making is with this, you know, everyone is kind of like jumping on this like it's the worst thing in the world. It's business. If they don't have work for those people, they're not going to pay them. It's really that simple. Do you know how many people would lose their job at Sega every single year? This is nothing, right? We would have like 2,000, about 1,500 people working there. 2,000 is a bit high, but about 1,500 people, 24 hours a day between the shifts. But the moment the projects were laid off, 90% of the staff was let go. Even if it was for 3 months. And then they would start rehiring them again after the 3 months because they're not going to pay them to do nothing for 3 months. The games industry just isn't the most versatile place. You know, it's not the best place to work when it comes to these sorts of things. Seventh time soon? Sleeping on the job? I've done that before. We're just talking about this Microsoft layoffs. Just started. I remember one time when I was at work, it was just such a boring day. There was nothing going on, and I passed out. I just fell asleep, and my friend was recording as my department manager came round, put a blanket around me, wrapped it around, made sure I was nice and warm. I was telling everyone to shut while I left. Went away, came back with the biggest book we've seen since God knows when, and slammed it on my desk. I had no idea what was going on. I woke up and I was like, where did this book come from? I was like, I'm gonna play this cool like nothing's happened. I haven't noticed that my department manager was behind me as he slammed it in front of me. Everyone's just acting normal. And then I get a tap on my shoulder, like, oh, hi. I did like when those guys were there. They were fun. Now it's been replaced by full corpo. All the fun factor has gone out the window. It's just business now. No. Mate, if I have to do any more localization, I rip my eyes out. I'm done reading. I don't ever want to do that crap again. Although I did start buying some manga, because apparently my midlife crisis is now buying manga books that I'm probably never going to read. But hey, there's a worse things you can spend your money on, right? I'm collecting the Nier books and the Sino Elise books. Sino Elise and Nier Automata I'm getting at the moment. I got volume 1 and 2 for Nier Automata. I've just ordered volume 3 and I've just got delivered Sino Elise volume 1. Mate, you did not see that cutscene last night in Withering Waves. Bags, you did not see it. That was insane. AAA games are not delivering quality at that standard. I was gobsmacked at what was going on. It was crazy. I'm ready for the power to go out. Yep. Although I hope it doesn't. Yesterday my internet went out because, you know, EEBT do their thing on Monday nights at like 1 a.m. in the morning, and everyone went nuts at home. It's like for 30 seconds it was returning to the Stone Age. Grind for 1,000 hours? Who's doing that? Mate, I think you're stuck back in like the, you know, the 1800s of gacha games, man. You're talking about those proper mobile games. It is not the same. It is not those anymore. Those are long gone. Man, this is not cleaning. But yeah, like, you know, the layoffs that happened, it sucks, right? I think we can all agree that it sucks. Layoffs suck. I am never going to say it's a good thing, no matter whether it's Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, Ouya, Stadia, whoever. I'm never going to say it's a good thing because I don't like layoffs. It's people's lives that you're playing with. But at the same time, the way people go about it, it's a bit weird. Because realistically, 99% of the people don't care. They're just caring for the sake of fake caring. They don't know anyone there that's actually lost their job. They don't feel any form, you know, you can't feel empathy if you don't know anyone. It's just literally, oh, people lost their jobs, I'm going to outrage. It's the truth, right? I know the truth is harsh, but it's the truth. We can feel bad for the people that lost their jobs, but you don't feel any empathy for them. And I've had this conversation with you guys before, which is why I'm kind of done with the layoffs discussion. It sucks, but that's as far as I go. Now, if I know someone there, then yeah, I do feel empathy for them because I know them personally. But you can't show empathy without actually having a personal connection with that person. The whole purpose of empathy. Does it suck if you own the company you save money? Wait, what? No, if you... as far as you're concerned at that point, you're winning, but it still sucks to let people go. Mate, Woodpit, you must have been... I don't know what you was doing. And then Monday you had no power. Oh my god. Mate, you were proper living the Flintstones. At this point, Barney was your neighbor, right? Devin, you reminded me of what BioWare did. You reminded me of what BioWare did. When they were trying to do the Anthem live stream, they knew they were in for a massive bollocking. So they released a public tweet saying that someone dug into the ground and cut the internet line. You know, people at BioWare was like, get that shovel, get out there now. Get that shovel, you better get out there and cut that internet line, because we are not going through with this stream if I am not on my watch. And they didn't have the stream for like 3 weeks. Steve, that's it. That is it. That is 100% it. I know that I look, guys, I know this view that's being said here sucks. And it's not, you know, great, but it's the reality. And the moment people realize that, the sooner they'll realize that stuff like this that happens is just whatever. And I'm not saying whatever to brush it off, it's just literally whatever. Hey, yeah, Zach, how's that Xbox Series P doing for you? Did anyone see Nibs getting absolutely destroyed this past week with his Final Fantasy didn't sell very well? Doing better than the Xbox Series S. Hey, at least the Series S is getting games, right? Yeah, it's sad to see it, but it's just a fact of life, dude. dude purposefully went out of his way to get the worst numbers immediately to manipulate, try and prove a point, and then everyone obliterated him. And he's still trying to defend it. Poor guy. Football guy. He got absolutely owned, and he is still starting. Do you remember what he was saying? Like, oh, the game's not done well in the first few days or the first week. What a thing. And now look what he's saying down here. Or it's selling a lot better the second week after more people have started learning it's on sale. So wait, the first week when he actually, in the first few days when he actually posted those numbers, he was criticizing Xbox players for not buying it. And now he's saying they didn't know about it. And obviously the second week, it's going to be a thing because now they're aware. And you can see the contradiction there, right? You can see the contradiction there, right? I'm wondering how much Death Stranding 2 is going to sell on PS5 only. Not sure, but I'm going to talk about Death Stranding 2 a little later, but I can say that I am enjoying it in a really weird way. I am actually, it's almost therapeutic. Now, he's just a narcissist. It's as simple as that. He's a narcissist. He loves to think that his opinion matters more than anyone else's. Again, it goes back to the phrase that I say, okumuş, which in my culture, which in Turkish loosely translates to the educated fool or the educated idiot. He thinks he knows a lot, but he really doesn't. He's just regurgitating what ChatGPT says. I mean, we'll see how many Death Stranding will sell, but I think it'll probably hit about 2-3 mil, I think. They be starving for PlayStation games, man. They're gonna be out and about for that like crazy. What you mean, Yatazek? I know what you mean. I know what you mean. But do you know what's really weird out of all this, right? Here's what's the real weird thing out of all this. Wait, that should have actually had a TTS. Did you guys hear that team to speak? Talk to speak? I mean, Death Stranding 1 was available everywhere. Alright, you should hear it now. It's really weird that it should have been. Unhunted all. Interesting. Alright, that should be fine. You should hear it now, though. Sorry about that. But yeah, Death Stranding was on everything, right? Xbox, PC. You know, it was on Etch a Sketch. It was on Game and Watch. I mean, they gave away like 1 million copies. Probably more. Then they screwed up the Ultimate Edition and gave that away too. Do I think $1,000 for Prime? No. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be $799.99. Either that or $699.99. One of the two. I don't think it'll be more than that. Just look at the great gameplay. Look at it. You can't beat this gameplay. It's so amazing. I'm literally killing Norman Reedus. Oh, but I do not understand why it's stuttering. If I watch the raw file, it doesn't stutter, which is weird. The problem is tech is getting more and more expensive, right, Ghosty? So there needs to be a balance at some point. And, you know, things aren't going to get cheaper. They're going to get more expensive. Now, if you can subsidize the cost, that's one thing. But if you can't subsidize it, then you kind of need to make money on it. But the point I was getting to before, you know, you always see these phonies saying that Xbox gamers don't buy games, right? And yet they're all on Mooch's podcast saying, ever since I've got Game Pass, I haven't bought a single Xbox game. So wait, if you don't buy Xbox games, why are you expecting me to buy it? So basically what they're saying is, if PlayStation offered a Game Pass-like service, they would lap it up and they wouldn't buy a PlayStation game again. That is what they're saying, folks. See, I'm not quite sure you can build an equivalent for £1,000. You know, I don't think you can. Considering the graphics card on its own is going to set you back roughly, give or take, about £600. Then you've got £200 for the processor. You've got another £100 for the case. You're pretty much at your grand. You don't even have a motherboard. You don't have no RAM. You don't have any cooler. You don't have your keyboard and mouse. So, I mean, if you said something in the region of, say, maybe $1,200–1,300 for a decent PC, I'd say yeah. But at £1,000, you're not going to get anything that's really tangible. You know, 16 gigabytes of memory just isn't going to do it today. You want at least 32 gigabytes of memory on a PC, on a Windows PC. I mean, if you buy parts secondhand, yeah, but then I can go and buy a Series X for £250 secondhand, £300 secondhand. Let him build that same PC for $300. You're not doing it for brand new parts, Byron. They're doing it with secondhand prices. The moment you introduce secondhand prices, you need to get that console at a secondhand price. PS5 Pro drops down to like £500 secondhand, right? And so now you're not competing at £700–800. You're competing with £500, and so that's what they have to build. You're not buying a graphics card decent enough. That's gonna be £500. Now you can. Not at the launch of the PS5 Pro, you couldn't. I mean, Linus came close to doing it the legit way, but even he had to buy second-hand parts, right? Linus came the closest out of everyone to doing it, but even he had to buy second-hand parts. Mate, I think I actually murdered that bitch before I even got home. I mean, what you're seeing here technically is the majority of the game. The one cool thing I like about this that I'm playing at the moment is that other people that are way ahead of me and way leveled more than me because they've had the game, you know, for over a week now, because they got the review copies like 2 weeks early. They've already started setting up like bridges and stuff like that that will help you along the way, or ropes to help you climb down. So I'm finding a lot of that stuff around the world and it's really, really helpful. And I'm really, really, I really like that aspect of it. It's almost like it's, you know, the longer you leave the game, the easier it's going to become. It's a really weird game, Yatazak. Like, how can I say? If you kind of enjoy the whole, so you get where I am right now in chapter 1, you have to get from point A to point B to point C, but you have to plot a course, and your course can either go through enemy territory or around. If you go around, then there's going to be like terrain, like you can see here, that's going to be an obstacle in your way, and it'll extend your journey, right, to get from point A to point B. But at the same time, then you've got the weather condition. It's raining here, but that's not a problem. Once you go to the new area, then you've got this kind of aging rain that hits you that you need to be away from. You've got earthquakes that happen, which you'll have seen a few times here. They've added sandstorms and stuff that you kind of have to plan your way around or wait until they go away. And it's all sorts of things. You can drop stuff and leave things behind in your cargo. Timeful, that's it. So if you like this sort of thing, if that kind of appeals to you, where it's literally about planning your journey from point A to B, you might like it. I didn't think I would think much of this game, but at the moment, I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. But again, I'm only on chapter 1. I'm hoping to have a more extensive video review out by the weekend. I know Sony, well, we've been told to finish the game first before doing a review, or if we can't finish it by then, within a certain time period, to at least specifically state that we haven't finished it yet, to say our playtime and then talk about the game. So that's what I'm probably going to do, because I don't see myself putting 50 hours in between now and the weekend. I work full time. Yeah, this is running on actually the Nintendo 3DS. For those that don't know, I managed to get it working on the Nintendo 3DS. Not the Switch 2. The screen lag on that was way too bad. I need sleep. Trust me, I need sleep. Yeah, he did. But, you know, if he actually got a review code, from what I've heard, it's other people lending him footage or allowing him to play it. I've heard he's been blacklisted from a number of publishers because of his attitude. They just don't like it because he lies a lot. But MetaQuest 3 S Xbox Edition. I know, but the problem is, Gorsty, he'll have his review up within 4 hours of playing it. Devin, I've actually, funnily enough, I've actually inquired about that with Sony, and it's all dependent on channel size and influence size. So if you're the bigger channels that have like a bigger audience, they will get it sooner, especially if they like review the games as well, because they can appeal to a wider audience day one, as opposed to smaller channels who can't appeal to as wide of an audience day one, but they still want to support those studios and provide them with game codes and, you know, have their say as well. Even though they appeal to a smaller audience, it's still an audience. But the ones that are appealing to a much bigger audience, they get the codes first, because it's, you know, it's business, right? I totally get why. Hence why increasing your subscriber count is important, because this is something that companies look at. So if you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you do, because you're helping me out. That was a perfect segue for a shameless plug, but I'll take it anyway. But MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition is here, and I did say you'd get 3 months of Game Pass. I was right about that. I really like this controller. Let's see the advert. I really like that controller. Can you keep up? So, they finally came out with the Xbox edition that they spoke about over a year ago. Who's gonna buy one? No one changes their thing to light mode. Chili doesn't do Tuesdays. He should be here this Thursday, potentially. He's been really busy with other stuff past few weeks. So he's not been able to attend. But Chili can only make the Thursdays, if he can make it. Secondary protocol, you are going to get one. Okay, so here's my question. Why are you going to get the 3S over the 3? The 3 is better. Last I saw, it was still available in the UK. I know, right? Yeah, to that. I know. I'll let him know that you all miss him, though. $379.99. And the standard one is like 300, 400 quid. Let me see. Let me see. Where is it? Man, this is not loading properly. Let's see. Nope. 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 There's no compare. So, this is the MetaQuest 3. This is the 512GB version of 469. There is the 128GB version, which is what, I've got, but I'm not seeing them show you the price for that one anywhere. They're just selling the 512, it seems, which is weird. But if you go to the Meta Quest 3S, that starts at $289, and if you compare the prices, which should be somewhere down here, I guess I'm not seeing it. The 379.99, which would give you 256 gigabytes, is the same price as the Xbox edition, which is still available to buy. And you can spread it over time with PayPal or ShopPay if you're in the UK. You get the custom black design with velocity green trim, which is kind of cool. You get 3 months of Game Pass, which I said you would get. You get the limited edition controller, which looks really damn cool. I really want it, and it sucks that I can't get it. I really, really want that. And then you get a carbon black strap, which is the Elite strap. And from what I've heard, the Elite strap breaks quite easily by Meta, so have fun with that one. Most people replace it. But yeah, that is your Meta Quest 3S, which is, you know, a downgrade to the S, the Meta Quest 3. Yeah, normally they do like the 128 gigabyte, but I'm not seeing it at all on their website. I'm actually really interested in these smart glasses. They look kind of cool. They look really interesting. Hey, what's up, little one? Are you stuck? Oh, you're stuck. Hey, who wants to see Oreo? All right, come on. Okay. Come on. Oreo! Okay. Don't try to kill me. What is it with you and not wanting to go on camera? My dude just never wants to go on camera. Like, never ever. He will go everywhere else, but he will not go up on camera. No, the smart glasses are actually quite cool because they become an extension to your phone. You can answer and talk on through your glasses, take pictures through them. You can, actually get information about what around your surroundings. It's really cool. Maybe my cat is embarrassed by me. It's very, very possible, dude. It's very possible. Hey, Ilray, how's it going? And look, if you don't have anything, this is actually a pretty decent price point. I will say that the difference between the 3S and the 3 isn't that much. So the 3S uses, I believe, Fresnel lenses, so the front is a bit, a lot more thicker. So let me see if I can actually expand this picture. So can you see this bit here where I've got my mouse? This bit here is quite thick, right? And that's the part that's going to stick out when you are wearing it. Now, the pancake lens, which is the one Sony uses as well, they basically make it like really thin. So if I show you those ones. Is there another angle to this? There, you can see it. There's like, it's so much smaller, and it's because of the pancake lenses that they use. Now, some people like pancake lenses, some people prefer the Fresnel lenses. It's a preference thing. I think ultimately it doesn't matter. It's just the weight at the front that's the main difference. So that's one of the key differences. The other difference is the resolution. The resolution on the 3 is 2K per eye. I think the resolution on the 3S is 1800 per eye. But that's really the main differences. The 3S is still a really, really good headset to get. The processor is the same. The chips is the same. There's no real difference. And, the pass-through is the same. The only difference is the resolution and just how much it stands off your face. So if you're looking to get one, this isn't a bad choice. You get the controller with it, you get 3 months of Game Pass, and you get obviously the Xboxified version, which is really nice, and all for the low price of £740. Since I'm commissioning it, you might as well buy one for me too. Mate, I paid so much money for my PSVR to Yatazak. Stop mentioning that, man. I've literally almost never used it. Stop talking to me about... Don't even mention the PSVR 2. That one hurts. Oh, but if you haven't heard, Sony said that they're announcing 4 new games for PSVR 2 very soon. So while everyone is waiting for their AAA games to come along, they're basically saying, suckers, here's some VR games. Like it or leave it. I'm hoping they're good because it might actually give me something to play on my PSVR 2. I've seen people prefer Fresno bags. So like I said, one might be better, but I've seen people that swear by Fresno all the way. But MetaQuest has like the exclusive games now, right? They've got loads of exclusive games now. You got Game Pass on there, which they clearly don't. And for some reason, this website just doesn't want to load properly. Even though on a 1 gig connection. I know, Bags, I'm not disagreeing with you. I am saying that there are people that prefer it. For one reason or another. Something to do with the whole spacing. You get to see a little more apparently with the pancake lenses, but then that gives a lot of people vertigo, so they don't prefer that. They prefer the Fresnel lenses that doesn't actually have as wide a field of view, but stops vertigo from happening, so people don't feel as sick as they normally would when playing VR. So there are reasons. Wait, you come back to me 20 minutes later and expect for me to remember. I don't even remember I'm drinking coffee in this cup secondary. Yeah, no one prefers 30 FPS over 60 FPS, Devin. That's like the worst example you can possibly get. Actually, I do wonder, has my new membership tiers actually come into effect? I never bothered checking. I should. Oh, they have. Nice. I didn't think they'd do it. I didn't think they'd come into effect that soon. You can become a member as little as 99p. If you ever wanted to become a member. 99p. I will die with 30 FPS. It is worth fighting over, in my opinion. 24 FPS only with the movie. Only with movies. Anything else, a no. Yeah, it's not loading the page. But you know, you got like Assassin's Creed, that's Batman, Assassin's Creed. I'm not sure if that's available on what is it? PSVR? But Among Us VR. You're getting the new Deadpool game. So lots of cool stuff. And apparently Ghostbusters, which I believe might be exclusive as well. So you're getting some cool exclusive games too. What more could you want from the MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition? This is an Xbox. An Xbox this is. Right? Devin, that might be a sore topic to bring up. Like a really sore topic to bring up. I know, right, Ghosty? And don't get me wrong, the 3S is still it's very tempting, right? They called it an 3S because it's part of the Series S series. But it has been crazy how everyone has been jumping on recently in the past few days on how this is amazing. They can't wait to get into this. They can't wait to do this. I've literally got a video showing that you can do it in 2023. This isn't nothing new. I've just not been able to do it because I wasn't living in a place with good internet. And I've heard some people say the latency was bad back then. It was not bad. That's just your internet connection. So, you know, this isn't nothing new. It's really cool the way it works. You get like a 120-inch screen, 200-inch screen. It's really nice. You know, it's almost like the X-Real experience, except instead of wearing the glasses, you're wearing the VR headset and you're in like a virtual room. Wait, if a game doesn't have photo mode, you don't play it? Why? It is only usable in the winter, though. I get it. Right, it's crazy, right? Because when I was reviewing Hitman on the PS5, I'm wearing the damn thing, and the PS5 headset is really light. It's not like, because it's not like an all-in-one. You know, it's just basically kind of like an extension of the PS5, and it, you know, there's some processing power in there, but the majority of the weight is coming from the PS5. So it's really light when you put it on when you wear the headset. And I'm sitting there and I'm like dying, and it's like, man, it is, and the disorientation, because Hitman actually runs really well in VR. So when you're moving around in such a fluid way, running up the stairs, having all that kind of bobbing going up, it starts to give you like severe sickness. I gave it to my son and said, look, just play it and let me know what you think, and we'll go from there. Man sat there for like 2.5 hours having the time of his life. Not 1 second did he feel sick. And he's like, yeah, this game is really good, Dad. I'm like, there's me really wanting to play it, but dying here because I can't play for more than half an hour. And there's him sitting there 2.5 hours like nothing happened. And then he has the cheek, right, to ask me and goes to me, the Dad. I go, yeah. When are you buying the next game you can't play so I can play it? The cheek of the little punk. When are you buying the next game that you can't play so I can play it? Hey, Frost, how's it going? Do you know what, Diablo? If you play often enough, you actually get used to it. Like, my tolerance went from about 10 minutes to where I can now play for about 40 minutes. The more you play, the more you use it, the more your tolerance grows for it. He feels it everywhere. Steve, everywhere. I'm doing good, Frost. I'm doing good. But yeah, if you're interested in this, it is definitely something that you can consider. I personally am going to give it, it's going to be a hard skip for me, personally, mainly because I've got the free and if I get this, it's a downgrade because the free S is a downgrade. So there's no reason. Although I do like the way, these look, but ultimately for me, it's all about the controller. And I feel bad that you can't get this controller anywhere else. It's like Microsoft doesn't like money. You want to give Microsoft money and say, hey, I want to buy this controller. Nah, you can't do that. Why? We're allergic to money. That money that you want to give us, don't you dare give us that money. Shut up. No, I don't do stop motion. That's why I took it off South of Midnight. Have I tried a 3S? I've got a free Banter Archer. The 3S in terms of size is very similar to that of the 2. And I had a 2. I've got a 2 as well. I had a 1 I traded it in. I've got a 2, but I'm going to trade that one in as well because don't need more than 1. But yeah, I've got the free and I'm happy with the free. But yeah, the 3S is a nice sweet spot. I'm not bullying Microsoft. I'm just saying they don't like money. For a $1 trillion company who keeps saying that they like money, they don't like money. They release a limited edition Indiana Jones Xbox, but they don't want to sell it. They release limited edition controllers, but they don't want to sell it. You watch, they're going to do a limited edition Gears of War Series X, and it's going to be a giveaway only, and you're not going to win it, Steve. And it's going to look absolutely amazing, like the best thing since sliced bread. And you're going to cry when you see it because you're going to want it so much, and you're not going to be able to get it. And that's what I don't. And that's what I don't get. They've got so many opportunities to make money and they don't want to. You know what? They're limited edition. Bump up the price a little. People will buy them. People will buy limited edition consoles because they look cool. They buy them and you pretty much keep them in the box. They're like mantelpieces. Or, they use them they put them on their shelves. They don't actually use them. But they're limited edition by name. So I expect to pay more. The controller's just going to be vinyl stickers, Steve. But sorry to hear that, Diablo. You'll buy the vinyls as well. Oh. But now, seriously, if you haven't tried this out yet, I think you should. If you've got a MetaQuest 3 or a 3S right now, you should give this a try because you just need to download the app, which is natively available on your store, and it works really good. If you have a Quest 2, you'll need to sideload the Xbox mobile app, so it's a little worse than the native app because of the resolution, because it only goes up to mobile resolutions, but you get the dealio. Yeah, Shadow, so is Microsoft. So is Microsoft. Well, I'm not even talking about the Switch 2. The Switch 2 is in a... Has anyone seen, like, the really dodgy screens that are on the Switch 2? Hey, look. Manu fans are just... We are the true fans. We stick by our team through thick and thin. And even this season, where we came fourth, we're still humble about that fourth place. Right? We still finished a respectable fourth in the Premier League this year. So I'm quite happy with that. Tarnished, I don't know why. When I'm playing it on my like native screen on my PC, it plays fine. I'm assuming I need to up the bitrate of my stream. Let me see if I can do that. Stream. Can I up the bitrate while I'm... Let's do... See if that helps. I think it's the bitrate that I've got it set to that's doing it. Because if I play it natively on my PC, it's not doing that. It's only doing it while I'm actually streaming it through here. So it must be my bitrate. I've just upped my bitrate to 8,000. If that doesn't work, then I'll up it to 10,000. Because it was recorded in 4K. Instead of me downsampling it to 2K. Sanchez, I'm actually playing through it at the moment. This is actually my gameplay. Sony were kind enough to give me a review code, and well, they gave it to me pretty much on release day, so I'm not going to have something out. The embargo rules, well, the review rules pretty much state that they want me to finish the game before reviewing, or at least get to a certain point where I've seen everything before I make a video. So I'm hoping to get to that point by the weekend and make a video then. But I can say from what I've played so far, it's a really weird game that you are either going to really enjoy or you're not going to enjoy at all. I don't think there's a middle ground to this game at all. It's a lot like Marmite. You're either going to like it or not. And it's really just that black and white, really. What do you mean, Paul? We finished fourth. Don't come to me with that crap. We finished fourth. So gaming, I haven't played the first. Oh, I've played about 2 hours of the first game. Not a lot. What I've heard about the second game that has been told to me by people who've played both The second game has improved almost all round on everything that the first game did and made it better, simpler, and more accessible. And at the same time, they've added a bunch more quality of life to make it easier for players to get into. So overall, it's a better experience than the first game. Lots of cutscenes though, lots of story moments, but graphically it looks really good. Although I was surprised that there's no pro mode in this game. It's just quality and performance. There is no PS5 pro mode. I mean, Metal Gear Solid was great, right? That wasn't weird. That was just great. I did not want to think Nintendo would cheap out that bad on the screen. Diablo, that screen is horrible, right? That Nintendo screen is diabolical. And you've got Nintendo fans, you know, championing this and saying that it's not bad when it's really, really bad. When I got my Switch 2, I never used it in handheld mode at all. I only used it in docked mode. But after I started seeing the stuff that people were talking about, I went back and tried to think, and yeah, it's not great. It's not great at all. I mean, I think this guy here sums it up quite well.
The problem with Switch 2 is that the response time of pixels, or at least the way it's being driven, is not adequate. And as a result, you actually do see a lot of sort of trails, blur on things. So if you're playing, say, a side-scrolling 2D platform game, like imagine you're playing Sonic on there, Sonic Mania, you get this checkerboard field, you've got a lot of contrasting colors. As it moves, the image essentially leaves behind. If you film at, say, 240 frames per second for like a slow motion video, you essentially get 4 individual ghost images of everything on the screen. Your eyes perceive this as blur. It's actually slower than the original Switch 1 LCD from 2017. This is what surprised me the most, because the nature of modern LCDs, I'm genuinely confused as to how this is the case. It shouldn't be that much worse, but it is. And as a result, it means that 2D games especially, or anything with a lot of lateral motion, just kind of smears in a messy way.
And that's a huge problem, right? Because if you're going to be playing games like Sonic on there or something like that, it's going to be a massive problem. And Nintendo really screwed up. Like, they really gimped on this. It wasn't even a case of them just cheaping out. When you've put a screen that is even worse than the original Switch, that's a problem, man. These things weren't cheap. They were 430 quid. Or 400 with the console on its own, so they're not cheap. I mean, if it meant Nintendo were going to sell these for £50 more and they had a better screen, do it. But don't do what they did here. Of course he did, Paul. That's literally his MO. So, and you know, I used mine for the first time, and you know, even playing games like Ridge Racer, which when you're skidding around the corners, it's going at a high speed. You can see it. You can see the blur. I don't think the battery is replaceable, PS5 blows. On slower games, Bullets, you won't notice it. It's only on games that are high pace. You won't really notice it on the slower games. You'll only really notice it on the games that are faster and higher pace. But still, it should never have been the case, right? It should never have been the case. Why would you gimp out on one of the most important parts of a handheld, which is the screen. It doesn't make any sense. The battery is glued in. Holy crap. So this dude here is saying that, you know, this is a very next-gen machine. So I said there's nothing cutting edge about the screen. This dude is defending that screen like there's no tomorrow. It's indefensible. And if what Tarnished is saying there, I've got no reason to doubt it not being true. It's just awful. And honestly, Nintendo knew that they could get away with it because they're Nintendo. And they knew that people would defend them. They knew that people would defend this level of craziness. It's yeah, but it should be better than its predecessor, Steve. It should be better than the Switch 1. The fact that it's actually worse. I'm not saying it has to be the best of all, but it should be better than the Switch 1 LCD. And it's not. We're not talking about the Switch 1 OLED. We're talking about the launch LCD of the Switch 1, which was 7 years ago. Maybe more. And it is worse than that screen. Right? It's indefensible. There's just no way you can do it. What's up, Brick? With 2004. No, but you see, you're accepting it, and that's fine. But people are defending it. You can't defend that, man. You cannot defend it. You can't defend it. There's no way you can defend it. I get what you're saying, that there's nothing we can really do about it, and it is what it is. I agree with you on that one. And I appreciate the fact that you're not defending it. But when you've got people there outright stonewall defending it, that's just silly. But do you know what you should be doing right now? Hitting that subscribe button, if you haven't yet. And hitting that like button, because I know you're enjoying the stream. Because this next story that I'm going to talk to you about is actually really cool. It's actually a really good one. So this was given to me by, I think Brandon, maybe? I want to say Brandon. I don't want to kind of... I think it was Brandon that gave this one to me. If I've said it wrong, then I'm sorry. But apparently they were making... This company is making a game called Spartan Survivors. And the Halo Studios reached out to them and gave them their blessing and to keep moving forward with the game. That's awesome. Really love to see the passion you and your team have poured into this experience. It really is fun, and we look forward to getting further in our playthrough and unlocking more stuff. I'm moving my cursor. but I'm not using OLED. But I thought this was really cool. Right? I thought this was really, really cool. I mean, once it's finished, they're probably going to turn around and send them a cease and desist, like every other company. But, hey, I just wanted to get in on the conversation, okay? You can't blame a guy for wanting to get in on the conversation. But I didn't want to knock over the bottle. You know, I wanted to get in on the fun too. Steve always wants to leave me out. But yeah, this is actually really, really good news. I didn't even know about this game previously. And I'm actually pretty surprised by it overall. Honestly. Let me see.
I would introduce you.
We're not going to do that. But yeah, OLEDs have much less ghosting. They're pretty much going to be the best picture you can get. Yeah, they did, Brick. No, but it's really cool because like most companies don't allow this sort of thing. I remember, if you remember a game called Final Fantasy Type 0, for years they requested to Square Enix for them to localize the game, and Square Enix just stayed silent and ignored it. And then on the day they finally completed the localization and were about to release the patch, they announced to the world that the patch was complete. They were ready. Square Enix sent them a cease and desist and then announced Type 0 to be released globally. That was rough. But companies do that all the time. But I'm happy that Microsoft isn't doing that here with Halo Studios, and they are allowing Spartan Survivors. This also means it's probably coming to the Xbox as well, which is cool. Rich T all the way. I don't know why you would want to eat ginger people. It depends if it's noticeable, right? If the ghosting isn't noticeable, then it doesn't matter. Someone asked me in chat if I would like rich tea or ginger nuts. And as much as I want to say ginger nuts, rich tea wins all the time. It is just what it is. But yeah, so hopefully, I mean, is there any footage of this? Oh, is this it? Oh, this is it. Oh. I mean, okay. It still looks... Anyone still interested in Spartan Survivors? Oh, so it is coming to Xbox at least. This is Spartan Survivors, a game a random bunch of people are making using the Halo IP. And Halo has given them permission to use Master Chief or a Spartan. Did anyone try that game out, Rematch? I think the notion that they gave them permission to use it is really good, regardless of what this game looks like. I think that's amazing that they allowed them. So I tried Rematch out, and I think my biggest complaint about that game, I actually found it really fun. Like you, Steve, I think it's actually really, really. It's like it reminds me of those old school, football games, right? Like really old school, before the international superstar soccers and FIFAs. Go way back to like the Dreamcast football games. It reminds me of those like proper arcadey, Rematch. I think it's called Rematch, but it reminds me of those games. But man, they really need to fix the matchmaking. Matchmaking really sucks. Tecmo? No. I mean, stats-wise, they're pretty impressive. Rematch has officially reached 3 million unique players. For those that keeping score, that's 11.8 million matches played, 55.6 million goals scored, 3.5 million assists, and 69.1 million saves. I actually attributed to assists, goals scored because I scored a few, and saves because I'm just that good. I mean, my matchmaking didn't take forever, E-Ranks. I actually got into the games really quickly. What I found was people were leaving the game and it doesn't refill. Virtua Striker is another good one. Hey, look, I am not playing on the worst rank. I went through all the training, maxed out the training so I knew what I was doing, went into the main game, almost scored in my own goal accidentally, but I did recover, take the ball, do the rainbow kick, and volley it straight into the top corner because that's how pros play. They redeemed themselves. I never had that problem. I played about 3 or 4 games. I usually waited about 10, 15, 20 seconds tops to get in. But if people leave, it doesn't refill the team. So if you're playing like a 3v3 or a 5v5, let's say 3 of your players leave in a 5v5, you're stuck for the rest of the game as a 2v5, so you've got no choice but to abandon. They need to fix that. They need to fix the refilling. It doesn't refill, and that can kill this game quite quickly. Because no one wants to stand there with a 1v5 and, getting absolutely slaughtered. And if they start adding, penalties for leaving the game, even if, in that situation, it's just bad. It needs to be refilled very, very quickly. I was playing in the same league as Hull City. Hey, I'm better than Hull City. I told you I did a rainbow kick. I bet people in Hull don't even know what that is. But I really had fun with the game. It was so arcadey. It was really good. So, and you can make like your own character. You can make your own kit and everything. It's a lot of fun. So I guess we're going to talk about this one, right? Because this one has been... Hey, Ghosty, listen. We came fourth in the Premier League. Hull is not in the Premier League. How is Hull better than Man United? We came fourth. Was it fourth or fifth? One of the two. That dude is old. Ezio is really, really old. But we did finish above 50th this season, Paul. Look, Ghosty, hear me out, right? Hear me out. If you take the Premier League table, right, and you reverse it upside down, we finished in a very respectable position. Right? If you take the Premier League and reverse it, we finished in a very respectable position. Unlike Liverpool, who in that situation doesn't really finish in a respectable position. And where does that put Liverpool? Since you've agreed that what I'm saying is factually plausible, where does that place you? What if you have an internet cutout, Steve? Hey, no. Let's not go back into all this real world stuff. You wanted to entertain what I said about, and you said Man United would finish sixth in this situation. So where would that place Liverpool? I need you to answer this question. This, I'm asking for a friend. We just need to see the answer. I'm not surprised, Devastator. A lot of people were waiting for it. Sup, Calandros? I'm just saying that in the situation, see, Liverpool would be bottom of the league. See, that is what you agreed to, Ghosty. And you know what? I'm gonna take you at your word for it. Rock bottom, Liverpool. This conversation is over. We could end it there. We don't need to discuss anything else when it comes to football. The fact that a Scouser has admitted to Liverpool being rock bottom, I'm good with that. But moving on to greater things, apparently Microsoft is restructuring Xbox distribution across Central Europe, resulting in some Xbox operations ceasing in some regions. Mate, they're still going. The conversation has moved on, and they're so butthurt that their team finished last. They're still going on by trying to move the goalposts now. Look at it. Look at it. Look at the goalposts moving. Ah, true ponies through and through. So a lot has been said about this. Actually, I've been seeing today. People are coming up with all sorts. How, oh my God, why is Xbox doing this? Well, if the rumors of 2026 are true, does he though? Because he got that Final Fantasy stuff really wrong. He manipulated the information to support his agenda. I don't get why people listen to that guy all that often. He's one of the worst when it comes to fanboying. I know you are, Paul. I'm just trying to, ease your pain. The reality is, if they're winding down the Xbox Series consoles like they did with every other console once they are on the verge of releasing their next one, this kind of makes sense, right? This makes sense that they're going to start slowing production or changing how they produce the Xbox consoles because they're now focusing on the next one. And unlike most people, I don't think 6 years is that little for a console. Xbox didn't have a mid-gen refresh. Unlike PlayStation, which does have a mid-gen refresh, and if they release their console in 2027, that's a massive slap in the face to anyone that paid $800 for a PlayStation 5 Pro. I don't care how you want to sugarcoat it. That's a massive slap in the face. 2 years? Even the PS4 Pro lasted 4. But you're going to make people pay over two times the price of the Pro and then give it to them for less than half the time with no real next-gen game? That kind of sucks, right? Like, why does the Pro even exist at this point? But this just tells me that they're downscaling and upping, they're getting ready for production for their next console. That's all this is telling me. And I think 6 years is long enough. I mean, you've got games now running on PS5, at least the base PS5, and the Series X at 720p. I think it's time to move on. Steve, I can't tell if you're serious or trolling. We've had this discussion before. I mean, Devastator, this may be the greatest scam of all time in the console business. Like, I know people say that the Series X is the mid-gen refresh, but it's really not. I know Phil Spencer said it was the mid-gen refresh, but he was probably drunk when he said that and didn't know what he was talking about, because the whole purpose of a mid-gen refresh is that it comes out mid-gen. I mean, it's literally in the name, mid-gen. But I know Phil Spencer said it was the mid-gen, but I'm pretty sure he was on maybe crack or cocaine when he's, or weed or something when he said it. He wasn't sound of mind is what I'm trying to get at, because no one with complete sanity would come out with that information. Steve is actually Brothers to the End. So if you can see Brothers to the End, then that's Steve. He just changed it because of Gears Reloaded. That's not a mid-gen refresh. There was no power upgrade. They just said, hey, how can we get people to spend more money without actually giving them anything? And then, voila. Out came the digital Xbox Series X and the Galaxy Edition. Although at least the Galaxy Edition gave you 2 terabytes of hard drive. It's still a special edition, so I don't even count that one. The PS5 had Demon Souls, right? It had Demon Souls at launch. I think Ratchet and Clank was very close to launch as well, within the launch window. They had a few games. But just because you got a spray paint and painted it white doesn't make it a refresh. See? Sanchez knows the way. This is what I'm talking about. I mean, I think it was more of a remake than a remaster. I mean, that was completely redone from ground up, right? What do you mean, cope? Hey, cope it with stuff. But yeah, so I think 6 years is plenty, and it's more than enough time. Hey, Digital Devil Sin, how's it going? That's pretty cool, Paul.
Just ordered my Quest 3's Xbox edition, rock on gesture emoji. Wondering how limited they are, thoughtful face emoji.
I'm not sure. I'm actually tempted, like, I'm genuinely tempted to pick one up to sell later on, in case they might become something of value. I'll think about it and decide tonight, because I've got no use for it personally. Or maybe give it to my brother for Christmas or something. I'll steal the controller though. I'll open it, take the controller, then give it to him, and if he asks for the controller, then I'll say, "Oh man, I lost the receipt and everything." Oh well, you'll just have to accept it like that. And Commodore 64 was great. I have fond memories of that, especially getting those games to load. People cry today when they've got like 10 seconds of loading. We had to wait 20 minutes to load a game. You literally put the game on to load and then just went out and did something and came back and the game loaded. I think I only had like 2 cartridges that actually had that were instant load. Man, it was crazy. And then while it was loading, if the tape didn't actually load correctly, you'd have to do that whole thing again for 20 minutes. Or what happened if the tape didn't stop at the start of the level like it was programmed to? Then that's it. All that time you spent playing that one level, you're done, because it can't load the next level because the tape is out of position. If you know, you know, man. If you know, you know. Yeah, we're going to check out a couple of those videos towards the end of the stream. I've got a couple videos of his that people wanted to see. But yeah, so I think that restructuring is, you know, all down to the next Xbox. Especially when we got this news, right? What's going on here? Did this move out of place again? Really? And you guys didn't tell me, and it's not even in place. Let's see if I can fix this. There we go. So apparently, Call of Duty 2026 is being developed for next generation Xbox, it's claimed. Which means the next gen, if it is true, and this is obviously coming from Tom, so take it with like a, you know, a Grand Canyon of salt. You know, not even a sprinkle of salt or a dash of salt. I'm talking the McDaddy Grand Canyon of salt. So do that as you will. In fact, if you go look for this tweet, it doesn't exist anymore. I believe he's deleted it. But COD 2026 is apparently being developed for next generation Xbox. If that is the case, this adds even more weight to the fact that what I'm saying here actually makes more logical sense, that it is actually them winding down the Series X manufacturing or the Series S manufacturing and moving on to the next generation consoles, because I think they're pretty much done with this generation. It's been a massive loss for them, and they're hoping that the next generation can build. What do you mean I'm showing my age? I didn't show my age. Look, Centipede was amazing, right? If you know, you know. Centipede was absolutely amazing. You guys enjoyed Snake, but before Snake, there was Centipede. How many in here played Snake on your mobile phone? Like, I'm talking on the old mobile phones. I'm talking on, like, the Motorola 1-to-1 mobile phones. Yeah, but why would I do that when I can just get the ROMs? I already own the originals for all the games I want to play. Hey, the banana phone was amazing. At the time, that banana phone was... Especially after the first Matrix film. Everyone wanted that banana phone. That was so awesome, man. I remember the first WAP phones that came along. So good. I was like, you know what? Now that I've got this WAP phone, I am never going to need another phone again. Man, how wrong I was. Oh, man. How wrong I was. Mate, I think Snake is gone. Snake is long gone. And Microsoft made a massive mistake screwing over Nokia like that. I really liked the Lumia phones. They were really good. I wish Microsoft never touched them. Apparently, Tom has tried or seen the latest Splinter Cell, and he said it's looking really good. 3210, man, those were the times. Those were the times. What about the Nokia face-off? Ah. What about a Sony Ericsson Coca-Cola phone? God damn, you guys are making me go back. Well, here's the thing.
To your friends in the order. Tell me,
What?
does the name Charlian ring any bells?
That was random. Am I going to play Death Stranding 2? I am actually currently playing Death Stranding 2. Sony were kind enough to provide me with a review copy while they didn't give it to other PlayStation-centric channels. So I appreciate Sony for providing me with a review copy. I am playing through it. I'm about 3-4 hours in, and I'm actually having a really good time with it. And hopefully, I don't know if I'll finish it by the weekend, but I do want to get a video out. If I don't finish it, I won't be giving a numbered score because they requested me not to, part of the review terms. So, but I will be giving my pros and cons of what I think. I'm hoping to get about 20 to 30 hours before I get to that video. But if I can finish it, then I will do. But if it's going to take me 2 weeks to finish it, at that point, the review might be out a bit late. But what do you guys prefer? For me to actually finish the game, which might take up to 2 weeks? Or do you want me, or would you prefer, by the 30th hour mark, apparently you've experienced everything there is, so you'll be in a good place to give a judgment. What would you prefer? It's because chaos is really the big... Hey, look, even people on X have started to question, why is Sony providing you with free stuff and Microsoft is not? I think Microsoft, I mean, Capcom were quite open and honest with me. They said my channel was too small, so they won't give me any review codes or preview codes. They said, you know, your channel needs to be in the 20-30K range. This was years ago, mind you. Maybe their policies have changed, but that's what they told me. And they were really nice about it, open, transparent. But they said, you know, if you ever hit those numbers, get in touch and we'll work with you. Smaller companies like Bandai Namco, well, not smaller companies, but other companies like Bandai Namco, Square Enix and co, you know, they've been really nice with me. Sony has been really nice with me, even sent me, you know, hardware. Microsoft has just given me the middle finger, but most other companies have been quite nice with me. Microsoft has standards. Basically devastated, yeah. I mean, I do know that Sony were happy with my last few reviews. They appreciated my honesty with my Concord review. They appreciated my review on Astrobot and a few other games that I've done where the scores haven't been so high, but I've given the pros and the cons and why I think they, you know, I've been really fair with my review scores, and they appreciate that. Even the Spider-Man one. $200, Sanchez. Sheesh. My Hellblade 2 playthrough was amazing. I got lost at every turn. I made sure I padded that numbers out, those hours, as much as possible. Otherwise, getting to that 6-hour mark would have been crazy, right? I never experienced the spider cube bug. The one that I experienced, which I helped Sony decipher by sending them videos and stuff was when the audio would desync from the hardware. It was actually desyncing from hardware level on the PlayStation, and they did fix it. Look, I work in QA. It's part of my nature to find these bugs, and once I see the bug, it bugs me, and I need to kind of figure out myself what's going on if I can. It's literally a curse, believe me. It's like these bugs literally come looking for you, and they find you. I only experienced 2 bugs all in all, Tarnished, in my whole time playing Spider-Man, and I pretty much did a bit of everything. The first one was a side mission, a mission with Miles Morales, where you had to go to one of the uncle's hidden hideouts. It just didn't load the door to open up. It didn't trigger it. So I had to reload the save. And the other one was the desyncing of the audio, which happened twice. But that was it. Those were the only 2 bugs. Well, 2 bugs I experienced. Have a good night, Paul. But I did see people, I mean, I know why the Spider Cube exists, and I think it's quite funny. Bullets. No. Even if I could stomach DCG, and I'm sure MBG is actually a nice guy in real life, I have 0 tolerance for Reforge. I don't ever want to know him. I don't ever want to see him. I don't want to ever interact with trash like that. Have fun, Steve. Enjoy your drive and safe travels. But yeah, so if this is actually true, you're looking at Call of Duty, Fable, Halo Combat Evolved, right? You're looking at Forza Horizon 6. You're looking at that other game that I can't remember. What was it called? Man, if only I could remember what it was called. If only there was someone here that could actually remind me of what the other game was called. Nope, it's gone. I didn't say I want to have a stream. I said even if I could stomach DCG, you know, I probably could, you know, sit down and have that discussion with him. But when someone out and out is going to call me a thief and then basically turn around and guarantee that that is how I acquired my PS5 Pro, I have 0 respect for trash like that. It is just what it is. So until he apologizes to me, I've got literally no care in the world for him. No, it was actually Gears of War E-Day. I thought Steve was gonna lose his mind because I forgot that one, but it was Gears of War E-Day. How could you all forget Gears of War E-Day? But that's like a killer lineup for 2026, right? For a next-gen console. No, Bags, that is not the case. Not Gollum or the other one. I did not, Ventura. I know that's the common joke, but apparently some people actually took that quite literally and genuinely believe that I did. When I did not. I mean, he's just going to want me to bring my friend on, and I'm going to say no. I don't need to bring someone online to show anything. You'll enjoy Gears. Gears is a really good game. Don't make us watch DCG. I don't know. Apparently, the two that I have here is Big Leak says PS6, Xbox coming 2026. I don't know what this leak is for PlayStation 6 coming in 2026. I think it's a massive cope. The other one says Xbox talks next gen, Xbox leaks confirmed, but also it is weird. And the other one I'm not going to look at because it's only been 4 hours. And you know my policy when it comes to videos of other people. It needs to be 24 hours old. No matter who they are, I will respect their content. I will respect their content, regardless of who it is. Steve's not here. We're not even ready to get to the videos yet. We've still got a few more stories to go through. No, I know Ventura, and I know you guys are joking and messing about. You know, I'm not taking anything you guys seriously. Have you seen any NTR reactions? I've seen a couple NTR reactions. I've seen one dude playing it like it was GTA and getting wasted. Apparently you can do that, and it escalates more and more. I saw some combat and stuff. I know it was on at 3 a.m. in the morning, so I wasn't awake for that. But I saw little bits of it. I'm going to watch the stream video of it tomorrow while I'm working. But that's about all I've seen. But it looks kind of cool. And it looks like that's where all the money from Tower of Fantasy has gone. They've taken every penny from Tower of Fantasy and invested it into an NTE. I'm not sure how you feel about that, Brick, but I feel like that's pretty much how I took it, because that game looks polished as hell. They announced the next-gen console because Sony really believes Xbox is leaving the console business. Sappho, I actually believe that is true, right? I think we were having this discussion offline, and Xbox, Sarah Bond coming on and doing that video about the next-gen Xbox and Windows was a massive, massive, massive knee-jerk reaction to Sony saying Xbox is now third-party and isn't, and that's the best place for them. And so Microsoft had to respond to that. They 100% had to respond to that, and they created that video which basically said, no, we've got a console coming. It's going to be Windows powered. It's going to be running on Windows 11. It's going to be, very different to what you have now. There's going to be a translation layer over it, in my opinion, that's going to handle all the backwards compatibility stuff. That's where it's going to go. So your older Xbox games are going to work on there. Even if it is through weird emulation, it's going to work. And that's all that matters as far as you're concerned as an endgame user. You are going to, when you power that next generation Xbox on, you're not going to see Windows. You're going to see a console UI. You're going to have access to all of your previous games and the new ones, whether it's from the Xbox store or the Steam store. And as far as you're concerned, you won't have any change in your gaming experience as a console user, except for the price of the hardware. But that price is going to be more expensive anyway, because the PS5 Pro, unfortunately, like it or not, has pushed the bar higher than it needed to be. People bought the PS5 Pro. It sold very well. And unfortunately, because it sold very well, that set the new standard for pricing. It's just the way it is. That was my biggest gripe with the PS5 Pro, the pricing. It didn't need to be that high. It was always going to set a new standard, and it has. I mean, you've seen companies like Microsoft already. The moment they see someone put $80, they are literally there with $80. They're taking that first opportunity to do it. It only takes one company to do it, and Sony did it. And in my opinion, Sony deliberately did it because, like, they keep saying, it doesn't matter. I mean, Sony said it themselves, right? It doesn't matter what we price our consoles at or our hardware at, our fans will pay for it. They said that openly. It doesn't matter what we price it at, our fans will pay for it. And the rest of the world will see. Why would Sony believing Xbox is going out of business be beneficial to Xbox? What was wrong with... I mean, everything Sarah said in that video pretty much told you that the next Xbox is going to be Windows 11 based. She openly said Windows is going to be the place to play the best games. Or something along them lines anyway. As far as how much it's going to be, I think it's going to be somewhere in the region of £700-800. It's not going to be cheap, folks. But if Microsoft is smart, if they are smart, they are going to do what I believe they're going to do in offering a entry-level console, a mid, and basically what you have now with the Series S and X. You're going to have the entry mode, which is going to have all the RAM it needs, but a lower powered GPU. And then you're going to have the higher version, the mid-range, which is going to be the console itself. And then if you want to have the McDaddy version of that, you go buy a PC. Because a PC will basically give you the same thing. And they're all going to be playing the same version of the games anyway. It makes no sense for them to have Xbox-only versions of games. This way, games will come out faster as well. Bags, it doesn't matter. Most of these third parties that Sony is doing exclusives with are putting their games on a PC. The moment it's on PC, it's available on Xbox. There will be a few games where they will have total exclusivity, like the Stranding 2, even though that's only a timed exclusivity. And that's because, they own the engine. But ultimately, for the majority of games, whether it's, Crimson Desert or whatever, Lost Souls Aside, I think it's called, they're all on PC day one. So they'll be on Xbox day one. I mean, both of these companies are moving towards them wanting their games on a PC. Sony is, like, I'd say, a generation behind that leap, but they'll get there eventually. Nintendo's going to do their own thing. I think Nintendo probably 2028 is when they're going to say, okay, we'll put our first few games on PC. I can see them doing that by 2028. Right now, they don't need to, but even they are seeing that the Switch 2, at least from what I'm seeing, isn't being as well perceived as the Switch 1. The only people that are all over the Switch 2 are literally the die-hard Nintendo fans. No, I think they can do a entry-level, hardware at like £400 or £500, and then have the next tier up at £800, and then you go PC after that. I can see that. And as long as they've got enough RAM in there, if they have 32 gigs of RAM in all of the variations of these consoles, at that point it doesn't matter anyway, because the lowest spec PC will be below what Microsoft's entry-level PC is anyway. But it's the RAM that's important. As long as you've got ample of RAM in there, and 32 gig right now, in my opinion, is standard for PC. So as long as you've got 24 to 32 gigs of RAM, you're perfectly fine. Even having a low spec machine will be fine, because it will just run everything, even if it is at 30 FPS. You know, you don't play games on PC on the lowest setting with a 1060 and expect to run 60 FPS on like medium, right? Because the Series X is customized. I don't think they'll be doing customized stuff. I mean, and AMD was already saying that they're looking at doing quick resume on PC, getting that working on PC. That's awesome. That's, you know, all of this is telling you that they're meshing, Xbox is meshing PC and console together. There's a long time till 2028, Sappho. I'm not saying every game will go. I'm just saying you'll start seeing the first few games. But that will be when Nintendo opens their purse. I don't see them opening it anytime soon. Before then. But that's how I see it, right? I mean, I could be wrong, obviously. I'm not saying I am right in this. But everything that they're doing points to this. And, you know, I'm seeing a bunch of people online coming to me on X and saying, oh, look, they wrote this article. The new update to the PC Game Pass is just them aggregating the stores onto one. It's like, yeah, and? Well, that's not what they were talking about with the Xbox Ally X. And I said, yeah, and? Well, they lied. Where did they lie? The Ally X isn't even out yet, you idiots. It's not out. The new Windows 11 Light OS isn't even out yet, and they're trying to complain. It's like, it's like, come on, man. What's going on here? Do you know what I mean? It's like they're complaining about something that doesn't yet exist. Why? Don't people have better things to do with their lives? The expansion memory card should have been cheap. Way cheaper than what it is. I think if it released at $99.99, that would have been a decent price. Right? Hey, Chili. I was actually going to reach out to you earlier after the stream, because a lot of people here missed you and want you back on the stream. So maybe Thursday, if you have some time, we can collab again. But I think John Lewis did like an offer for like £108, so I finally bit the bullet and bought a memory card. Normally they're like 140, 150 quid, but it dropped down to like 108, so I just said, you know what, I'll just buy one. At that price, I don't think it'll get any lower. But yeah, if this is true, it's going to be a thing. But, you know, there's always people scared, right? It seems pretty obvious Xbox can't wait to get the F out of this gen. 2026 is insane early. Bear in mind that 2027 would be 7 years, which is the average lifespan of a console. How is insane early 1 year? One! We're not talking like 3-4 years here. My dude is calling 1 year when games are now running at 720p insane early to move to next gen. I don't know about you, but I think At this point, a 5. Some have been 6. Have been 6. Yeah, they have. Oh, they're 2 early bags. Don't be crazy. 6 is fine. Mate, I was hoping they'd move by the 5th year. Forget the 6th year. The consoles were showing their age. The positives, apparently, it will be the best place to play GTA 6 about 6 months after the PS5 Pro. That's if GTA 6 doesn't get delayed until November 2026. And then if it does, it will be the best place to play it if the console comes out. Negative, it's going to cost a kidney and an arm, and they believe that the PS6 is not going to cost a kidney and an arm. These lot, genuinely, yeah, these guys are thinking that the PS6 is going to cost $499. $499. How many people here think the PS6 is going to cost $499? Hey, brothers, welcome back. Lol, good luck with that. Any takers on $499 for the PS6? Yeah, Invictus, I think 6 years is fine. I think 5 years might be just a bit too early. You know, you're still drawing it out. But 6 years, I think, is fine. Probably double that. You came back to keep your place? You're third. How are you keeping your place? 901. Wait, Tarnish, Dance Dance Revolution 4 is still fine? I mean, I guess Dance Dance Revolution 4 is okay. I'm assuming you've got the dance mat, right? I mean, then you've got the whole cross-gen period as well, which will at least be a year. So that kind of makes the 7th year. And then you might get exclusive games to that hardware a little bit after that. Wait, what, Devin? Stop. Punished? What do you mean? Oh, I was just doing a DDR joke. Dance Dance Revolution, DDR. I guess it was a bad one. I'm guessing no one in chat picked up on Dance Dance Revolution, DDR. Look, back in my day, it was a good game, okay? You had people playing it, looking like absolute morons jumping on a map. It was a thing, and we did it with no self-respect. The amount of injuries that have occurred through DDR shall never be spoken. Look, that joke was amazing. Your lol tells me it was amazing. And I'm only bringing it up and explaining it because Tarnished wanted me to. But yeah, like these people think that the PS6 is going to cost $4.99. Crap Gamer said $4.99. And everyone in Mooch's stream was like, yeah, we think it's going to be that as well. Mate, they're Delulu. They are proper Delulu. Ah, mate, Sapphire DDR was amazing. Just no one in this chat room is going to admit to playing it. Like, no one is going to admit to playing it without a controller. Everyone played it with a controller, right? No one actually played it with a map. But yeah, so apparently it's going to cost a kidney and the arm, and when the PS6 comes out, the conversation is over. Like, they never learn. They just never learn. And this is what I was talking about, the big Xbox PC Day. Microsoft adding Steam games to its PC app for the Windows Insider testing. It's just them aggregating. And this is the thing, right? People are losing their mind over this. This one little thing here, they're losing their mind over it, right? And I actually think this is a good thing that Microsoft is doing this. You know, for those people that want to use the Xbox PC app, you know, Steam is actually giving them permission to use the API for them to be able to see those games through the Xbox thing. But GOG has been doing this for ages. None of these people raised an eyebrow when GOG has been doing it for years with GOG Galaxy. And there are other third-party tools out there that have been doing this for years. So why is it a massive deal now, a massive negative, when Xbox is doing it with their app? I don't care if it's wank. The fact is they were doing it. Right? They are doing it. And they still are to this day. But none of these, you know, publications or these people on X are actually coming out and making it a big deal. They're just, oh, it exists, but no one's really using it. So why are they making like a massive deal now that Xbox is doing it? Just, if you're not going to use it, ignore it and move on. Like, what is the big deal here? This is why people say there's an Xbox tax. Because Xbox literally cannot fart without there being a goddamn Ragnarok, you know, scale event. I do not like my PlayStation vibrating controller, although I can't really use vibration anyway. Haha! Because I suffer from RSI, and it really hurts my hand when I have any controller vibrating, which kind of sucks because I don't really get any of that force feedback anymore. So I cannot do that anymore. Sanchez, it is not a thing. I mean, no one is saying that the Xbox app is going to replace Steam. I don't think anyone can replace Steam at this point. They've just got a monopoly on gaming. That's it. You know, on PC gaming, they have a monopoly. You know, no one else can really compete. But again, I go back to my original point. GOG has been doing this for ages. Why haven't people lost their minds with GOG? Why is it only when Xbox does it, it's a big deal? It's weird. But I'm going to be right back, folks. I'll leave chair with you to discuss stuff.
So Chair, what is it like carrying the stream? Chair hype.
Oh, I missed some super chats. So, Chair, what is it like carrying the stream? Chair hype. Thank you for the £4 super chat, Chili. Chair hype is very good. I see Chair has kept you guys busy. Hey, look, the chair is never late. It never moves from here. It's always me. Hey, look, the chair is not better than me. I think we can all agree on that. If Capcom do a Silent Shadow of Street Fighter 5 coming to Xbox, what? A shadow drop of Street Fighter 5 coming to Xbox after the poorly sales from... I mean, why would they do Street Fighter 5? Just Street Fighter 6 is newer, right? I'm gutted. That's what Assassin's Creed Shadows update was today. Apparently it's tomorrow. Sad times. Hey, Banisher, it's a thing, man. It's a thing. Getting those dates mixed up is a really, really bad thing to do. Yeah, I think you need a new chair, Chili. My kid keeps telling me the same thing. He wants my chair, so he says I need to buy a new chair. His logic is that I should give him my chair, and when I don't have a chair, I will need to buy a chair. I don't see the logic in this. Brick, you think chair needs a raise? Well, get those super chats in. He likes the raise. So apparently Sega accidentally made sales data public for 11 major games. And it's actually quite interesting to see this. When, hey, oi, stop scratching the floor. Oh, so now you want the door open again. Mate, you cats do not stop. Okay, go. Off you go. MBG actually does like a super chat goal to feed his cats, right? Crazy. At least he's on it. Yeah, no. Can we get you? You just had chair back for again. But yeah, so we actually have some sales data. So you can see here Persona. It did really well at launch. Then it kind of went downhill and then picked up again. And it's kind of kept a stable sales throughout. 7.525 million isn't bad. Sonic Frontiers, 3.2 million in its first fiscal year. Sonic Team Racing has pretty much kept that 200 going for a while now. Three Kingdoms, I'm not surprised it crashed, and it's going to get lower and lower as it goes on. Yakuza Like a Dragon, interestingly enough, the second and the fifth year, it did insanely well. Did something happen during the fifth year? Maybe it went multi-plat or something. It went over to PC or something, I don't know. But Sonic Superstars started off really well and 620,000, so this is going to grow. But you can see like most of their games are around the 2-3 million mark, except for Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon did not do very well. Infinite Wealth did okay. At least it broke the 1 million, and I could see it breaking 2 million by the end of this year. But Like a Dragon did not do very well. Well, not by the end of this year, but by the end of next year. Like a Dragon did not break 1 million. But it's interesting, these numbers, because Yakuza seems to have like when people see the Yakuza games, everyone goes crazy. You've got a massive following for Persona. Warhammer didn't really have anything. Sonic, I don't think their following is as... I mean, their following is still huge, and you can see that in their numbers. But the Yakuza numbers have been steadily dropping. And it just goes to show that people being excited for these games doesn't always turn into sales. And, it is what it is. Is Yakuza Like a Dragon a bad game? Absolutely not. Did that 1 million in total cover its cost in development? Who knows? I mean, as a consumer, I couldn't care less. If anything, as long as they break even, that's all that's important, because then it means they might make a sequel. But people don't genuinely put, when it comes to these games, put their money where their mouth is. They just talk the talk, but they don't walk it. I want to say Yakuza's niche. I want to say Yakuza's niche. Yeah, maybe the production cost is low, but what I'm saying is, like, a lot of people, like, when Yakuza Like a Dragon came out, you saw people screaming and cheering, and everyone was going crazy when those trailers came out and the news came out for it. I expected it to at least hit like 2 million sales with the reaction that we saw online. And the fact that it didn't is interesting. And, expectations need to be in check. I thought this was quite funny, right? So everyone's favorite Tripster says Metacritic scores don't mean jack shite on one's personal experience with games. Now, normally I would agree with what he's saying here. In fact, I do agree with what he's saying here. Metacritic is very skewed by publications, but at the end of the day, what you enjoy is way more important than what a number is telling you. However, the problem is, fast forward to this, and it's low. Metacritic scores now matter everything. This game keeps getting lower every week. I'm glad the industry finally woke up. So now Metacritic scores matter. But back in 24, they didn't matter. 1 year on, they do matter. But my conclusion from this is, if it supports their, their agenda, it matters. If it doesn't, then it doesn't matter. So why does Mario Kart getting 80 matter to anyone's personal experience? They are very much contradicting. Why does it matter that Mario Kart is 80? It doesn't matter if it got 60, right? It doesn't matter to one's personal experience, so that 80 score doesn't matter. I am saying his words exactly how they appear. Oh, so which one are we watching? This one or this one? I think so too. Hey, Bryan Majetic. Are we doing Xbox Talks Next Gen leaks confirmed, or are we figuring out where he got the PlayStation 6 leaks coming 2026 and them being $1,000 each? It's okay, Bags. I know your secret. It's why I haven't revealed it. I'm a little disappointed that Steve revealed your secret. I wouldn't have said anything, Bags. I got you. Which one are we going with, chat? Great. Tell me how you really feel. But no, seriously, which one are we watching? Or I'm just going to pick a random one. I'm going to pick a random one. Goofy face one. They're both goofy. How am I supposed to know which one is goofy? Guy says the goofy one. Like that's gonna make any difference. What? What the hell? Okay, $1,000 one. Before I go into that though, apparently Sony does not own the Death Stranding IP in Japan. The Death Stranding trademark ownership remains with SIE in the US, but in Japan, it is owned by Kojima. So, does this now mean that... Alright. Where is 505... Where is 505 based? So 505 Games is an Italian video games publisher based in Milan. So that means Death Stranding, according to this, is still officially a PlayStation game, and it is now on Xbox. Based on this trademark, Death Stranding is officially, based on the publication, a PlayStation game, a PlayStation-owned IP, released on Xbox. As Bag said, third party confirmed. Mate, how are they going to spin this? How are they going to spin this? Sony does own the IP. They only don't own the IP in Japan. Sony owns the IP in the US and potentially in Europe. But Death Stranding as an IP is only owned by Kojima in Japan. So the fact that it's come to Xbox means that Sony did give permission for that game to release on Xbox, if the trademark is to be believed. Unless another company owns it, owns the IP in Europe and has European licensing rights. That's different. All right, let's see what's going on with $1,000 each. I want to see where he got his information from.
Jessica here, and today we're talking about the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox, because
what's wrong with the audio? That isn't me, by the way. That's the video.
This weekend there were some significant leaks about the power, the performance, and the price of these next-gen systems.
You can see,
because apparently they're going to cost
it's just stream delay.
$1,000 each. They may be coming next year.
It was stream delay. Like, you're blaming me for YouTube's mistakes now. Well, YouTube's delay. How is that my fault? Hey, Paris, how's it going? Yeah, it totally wasn't. But I'm still going to go with what I just said.
These leaks are psychopathic. I mean, even if you love what Sony's been up to or what Microsoft has been up to, I feel like empirically, mathematically, we can say this has been the worst console generation, just in general, from lack of big first-party stuff. Like, actually consider that. How many crazy cool exclusives that are actually first-party have you played this generation? Not a lot. And I feel like it's weird to me that, honestly, the PlayStation 5 just keeps burning up the charts. The PlayStation 5 continues to sell so fast, it continues to make literally tens of billions of dollars. Let me break it down, because I honestly think these leaks are definitely correct. These next consoles are clearly being rushed out they're clearly going to cost $1,000 each. And I feel like people are they're just gonna deal with it. But let me talk.
But why would Sony want to rush out their console when most of their next generation games are 3 to 5 years out? Like, what are they going to have with the next... If the PS6 launches in 2026, what are they going to have? Right? They cancelled, like, almost everything. The studios haven't been working on other games. They got Wolverine. I don't know if they've even started Spider-Man 3 yet. So, Intergalactic, the last we heard, a few months ago, they didn't even know what the game was supposed to be yet or what the story is. They're still kind of making it up as they go along or kind of storyboarding it. So, they're nowhere near release for that. So, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, baby steps. That means nothing for a next generation console. Remaster.
Talk about why this is so annoying. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe.
The audio is bothering me.
Now, before anything else, I do want to say that
it's so echoey and
so
tinny.
Weird to think about the PlayStation 6 already coming out. When I started this YouTube channel, I was doing videos about PlayStation.
Don't want to be that guy, but either he's using a metric ton of foundation here, or his health was way better here than it was here. A lot has changed between 2004 and in 20 years.
3 games and talking about
anyway,
the finalized rumors of the PlayStation 4. So it feels weird that it really hasn't been that long. The PlayStation 4 generation lasted an incredibly long time. And honestly, it felt like the PlayStation 4 generation had so many incredibly good games. Infamous Second Son, obviously God.
Yeah, Tarnished. Spider-Man 3 is supposed to be split into 3 games. Part 1, multiplayer, and Part 2. Each of them are supposed to be $50 each, so that's actually $150.
The War coming back, Spider-Man 2018, Uncharted 4. I mean, the PlayStation 4 truly felt like it was designed to keep you hungry for PlayStation. Whereas now, it just seems like Sony realizes they can sit back and let everybody else make all the games and they just get free profit. But let me start with these leaks here. So, PlayStation...
And this is one of the things that man, how's that? You get 2 DCGs for the price of 1. But this has been my biggest issue with the direction that Microsoft has gone. In my opinion, it has really made Sony lazy, complacent. It's made them not really need to try or to really push forward. Because they're getting the Xbox games, the Activision games, the Blizzard games, the ZeniMax games, they don't have that urgency anymore to try. I'm really hoping this next generation Xbox is going to change that and maybe challenge them a little and compete with them more so they can get that urgency up and actually start releasing first-party good games. But at the moment, I agree with him to the extent where Sony just doesn't really need to try. They have gotten very lazy. YouTube ads are breaking the stream. I'm sorry about that. There are certain things you can use to stop the ads. So, maybe you should try something along them lines.
PlayStation 6 is apparently on track to launch in 2027. The next Xbox is coming in 2026, but there is talks that Sony is sort of anticipating to possibly rush their launch to match that 2026 release date. Now, from the raw specs, it does seem like they're going to be slightly better. Hey, look, next-gen AMD, new UDNA GPU architecture, basically 20% better performance, great, two times better ray tracing and AI performance. Something I've seen a lot of people discussing is that, in general, it seems like ray tracing...
Here's the thing, right? and maybe, I don't know if Paris is still in the chat, but maybe he might know, because I don't know. What are the specs of the next Xbox? Does anyone actually know the specs of the next Xbox? Has it been like leaked anywhere, or has it been revealed anywhere? Is there any information on the next Xbox other than what the OS is going to be, or what, you know, the software is going to do and enable? But has anyone actually seen any leaked proper information about what the next Xbox is going to be? Because if they haven't seen it, how does he know this is already going to be better than the next generation Xbox? I mean, he's come out and just said, this is going to be better than whatever Xbox is coming. So how does he know that? DCG knows everything. Like, the guy is so full of shit.
A lot of people that know better than I do, a lot of the people I watch online and stuff, have basically said that for the most part, ray tracing has kind of been a gimmick. This idea of hyper-realistic reflection.
Okay, the only people that say ray tracing and path tracing is a gimmick are the ones that have never experienced it properly on PC gaming. You play Cyberpunk 2077 and see path tracing in its full glory. It's no longer a gimmick. The only people that say it's a gimmick are the ones that haven't experienced it. End of. I'm sorry. You know, I've seen some games utilize it, like Spider-Man, and it's not great. It's not really ray tracing. I don't know what it is, but when you see it properly utilized, like in Indiana Jones or Cyberpunk 2077, it makes the world of difference to lighting. You know, path tracing is just out of this world. But to say that, you know, this sort of thing is a gimmick, it means that you've never truly experienced it.
Reflections seemed cool on paper, but a lot of games actually run significantly worse if you have ray tracing on. A lot of games now require it if you're playing on PC, and you can flip options off. A very popular mod for almost every major AAA game where you can't turn off ray tracing is basically going into the code and removing ray tracing so your game doesn't run like trash. It sounds like one of the things they're attempting to do with the PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox is basically making ray tracing not such a ridiculous power hog. I'm almost at a spot where I am annoyed because I do really feel like we're getting close to photorealism. I've said this multiple times, but I just feel like graphics are already getting so good. Graphics are already just so significantly gorgeous. Do we really need to keep trying to make bigger and more expensive systems that are double the price for 20% better performance? I really do believe, and maybe I'm going to be 100% wrong, I'm making this prediction in 2025, I think next console generation is going to be the last. I just cannot imagine that we're going to keep seeing these big...
The next console generation is going to be the last. Who's been saying this for the past year, if not maybe two? You don't all have to jump out at once, by the way. You can all kind of talk amongst yourselves and come to the conclusion that I was right. Mini chaos. I mean, anyone that's looking at this with any common sense will have told you that from a couple of years ago. The next generation is going to be the last one. They're not, you know, graphically, we're not making those leaps that we were making before. The leaps, the real leaps you're seeing now is on the really expensive tech. Console just isn't moving in that direction anymore. The jumps between them. I mean, just look at it. If you're looking at like the Xbox One or the PS4, there are I mean, look at it. What is it? Order 1866 still looks amazing, right? If you look at some of the old PS4 games, they still like hold up today. You're not seeing that big leap like when you did from the PS2 or the Xbox OG to the 360 and the PS3. That jump in graphics just isn't there anymore. That leap isn't there, and this is probably why, you know, Phil decided not to go with a mid-gen refresh, because it just wasn't worth it. The technical jump just isn't there, and as you can see with the PS5 Pro, it's had a slight bump, and maybe it's enabled ray tracing a little bit at the, you know, and you know, it's upscaling with AI in order to maintain that. But while it's upscaling, it's lowering the resolution. So the jump isn't there. So it's obvious that the next generation is probably going to be the last. And then everyone becomes a PC gamer. And then we go on to the launcher wars. PlayStation launcher versus Xbox launcher versus Steam launcher. It's going to be a thing. I think Epic would just be there somewhere.
Iterations. Graphically, we are so close to just
I
having
know,
practically actors on the screen fully controllable. At this point, I feel like the next big race is not going to be about performance. It's going to be price. It's going to be about finding a way to make
Rise
stuff
still looks
cheaper
great,
and
yeah.
cheaper and cheaper. Whoever can make a system that looks this good, that does have ray tracing, but doesn't cost an arm and a leg, they're going to win. God. Both consoles likely to launch by 2027. I want to take a look at the replies, because a lot of people are like, oh my god, Sony would never rush to match Xbox's launch no matter what's happening. Yeah, there is stuff. Oh god, 8K screens. This stuff irritates me. We've not gotten any games this generation. We've been getting games every year. What are you playing? I feel like this is the thing. There is good third-party releases. I review a lot of games. We have had some truly generational, epic, crazy stuff, even this year, even last year. I think about Baldur's Gate 3. I think about Expedition 33. We have had some games that are truly generationally amazing stuff, but none of it's first party. None of it's actually from Microsoft Game Studios or Sony Game Studios. It's always just this third-party stuff that's propping up the consoles. Rushing to next gen, I feel like there's no real point or advantage to it yet. Now, I have seen some people sort of talking about the fact that there's already confirmed projects for the PlayStation 6.
I don't hate Epic. I'm just saying they're going to be somewhere in there. I actually like the Epic launcher. I've actually bought games on the Epic launcher. Alan Wake was one of the games I bought on there. There was no way I'm waiting for a year to play that game. Are you crazy? I wanted to play that game at the best possible quality I could. And obviously, my PC was going to run it better than anything else. And for GeForce Now, running a 4080 on max settings, it ran beautifully as well. So that's even better. So I bought that straight away, man. And I bought a few other games on Steam. I mean, not on Steam, on Epic. But, you know, I don't hate Epic. I just think people just don't trust them. And I've never understood why. Especially when I've actually tried running games on Epic and the same game on Epic and on Steam, and normally Epic gives you higher frame rate because it doesn't have the bloat that Steam has. You actually get better frames. So that's something if you care for frames.
Which does seem to lead credence to the fact that these systems are coming sooner rather than later. Basically, Kojima said that he's essentially working on the next Metal Gear Solid. This thing, Physint, I'll be honest, I have no idea how the hell I'm supposed to pronounce whatever the hell that is. That thing is a PlayStation 6 espionage tactical action game that takes Kojima back to his roots. This is cool, I'm not gonna lie, I'm super excited to check out whatever this game is on PlayStation 6, but the fact that we're already talking about PlayStation 6, I made a video a couple days ago because Sony straight up said they had an investor call and they said, our number one top of our mind right now is PlayStation 6. I guess I'm just in a spot where this stuff to me not only doesn't feel too soon, I'm worried about this price tag more than anything else. So the official leaks from Kepler is that right now the next gen Xbox is going to be around like $999. Now this is the dude who has properly leaked a lot of the stuff about the Nintendo Switch 2 before it came out. This dude Kepler definitely knows what's actually going on. Here it is. If your console is trying to be sold for a profit, if it's got multiple storefronts, get ready for the first $1,000 console. I've seen people actually talking about.
I just don't think the consoles are going to be $1,000. I mean, I'm talking in, you know, UK prices, obviously. Good night. You know, I don't know if the pound sign is going to be switched over to a dollar sign, you know, and do it that way. I know you guys pay tax on top of whatever that price is, but I just don't see it. I don't. I genuinely do not see them actually releasing it for $1,000. Hey, look, Steve, shut up. Stop your trolling. I still see it being in the UK either $699.99. That's the base minimum. What I really think is going to be is either $749.99 or $799.99. That's what I think the pricing is going to be. Now, whether that is with a drive or without a drive, you know, they could release it at $749.99 without a drive, and then say, look, if you want the drive, it's either an extra 50 quid or 100 quid, taking it to 800 or 850 quid. I can see that. I mean, considering where everything's like a digital anyway, I can see that. But not £1,000. I don't see it. Because the moment it hits 1,000, it becomes way less attractive. 699, 749 isn't attractive, but it's not 1,000. So it's still in the realm of kind of thing. But it is not £1,000. Just that's it. It closes the doors for so many people. And at that point, you know, cloud gaming will probably start to become a lot more attractive to people. And maybe that's what they want, right? Because when it goes to, if it goes to cloud gaming, that's it. No more secondhand gaming or anything like that. It's kind of done. So maybe that's the ultimate goal. But I think we are a generation away from that.
This for a bit. I've even seen these tweets in 2024 saying that the PlayStation 6 is probably going to be $1,000 as well. I mean, I feel like we have accidentally...
Mostly, they announced that they sold more than the PS4 Pros. They sold way more than the PS4 Pro, so that number was revealed. I can't remember offhand what it was, but whatever that number was, they sold more than that.
Voted with our wallets. I've always loved the idea of vote with your wallet. If you don't want DLC, don't buy DLC. If you don't want microtransactions, don't buy microtransactions. If you think a game looks good, pre-order it to make sure you support the developers. Right? But in this case, people have very much, whether purposely or accidentally, supported the idea that first-party games are no longer necessary. PlayStation 5 has made more profit than every other PlayStation generation combined. The PlayStation 5, a money printing machine, this is such a great way to phrase it. A $1,000 PlayStation 6, I've seen these people...
See, I don't get this, right? I don't, you know, I see a lot of people actually talking about this and saying this is a big thing. Back in the PS1 and Sega Saturn days, games were what, £45, right? And sure, they didn't cost as much to, you know, manufacture, you know, to develop for, but the sales volumes weren't there, right? You didn't have the sales volumes that you have today. You went to the PS2 that had 155 million, and then they magically created 5 extra million so Nintendo wouldn't catch them. That was a lot of consoles. And then you had Xbox One come along with 20 million consoles sold. But again, games were at £45. You never saw games really selling in the 10, 15 millions. Again, they still kind of sold in the 1 or 2 millions. PS3 and 360 is when you started to see those 3 to 5 million game sales, but it didn't really exceed those. And then the PS4 came, and that's when the volume started to increase. But throughout the whole of that time, games prices were roughly 45 to 55 pound. It wasn't until we really got to this generation. I mean, I think they were about 60 pound back in the PS4 and 360 days. Were they 60 pound or were they 50 quid? I remember 50, but I could be wrong. But it wasn't until we really hit this generation that the prices of games have hit 60, 70, and even now 80, that we are seeing a higher sale. Obviously, you know, games are costing a lot more money to make, but the sales volumes now are way higher. You are seeing games selling 20, 30 million copies, which you didn't see back in the day. So I guess, yeah, they are making more money right now, but there's a lot more nuance to this. Right? Yeah, Platinum meant that it hit 1 million sales, but not many hit that. So, you know, there's a lot more nuance to them making more money now, and this isn't as clear cut as they want it to be. Although they themselves know that this information isn't clear cut, they will run with it because it just sounds nice and it gives them a boner. You know, running around saying that my favorite company is making this much money, but the reality is, how much of that is actually net profit? Sure, the overall revenue might be really, really good at 31 billion, but how much of that is net profit? And they didn't announce that, right? They left it as operating profit. They didn't put it down as net profit. They could have told you net profit, but that wouldn't have looked as good as the value that they gave, which obviously isn't what the net is. Very important. There's a reason why companies don't tell you the full information. And in those slides, they had every chance to tell you what that net value would be, but they chose not to say what that net value would be. Why do you think that is?
$1,000 PlayStation 6. I've seen these people already preemptively defending it. You don't have to buy it. This isn't your business. Let other people enjoy things. People will show up and buy it if there's a market for it. But I almost feel like I'm annoyed about the fact that it does feel like there is starting to be this divide, this weird, like, how do I even phrase it? A proud sense of gamers that just want to take whatever slop hits the plate. They'll take broken games and they'll defend them. They'll take really busted experiences that are overpriced and they'll defend them. The amount of people defending Mario Kart costing $80, just stuff like that, truly, truly, truly blows my mind. Anybody who's...
Okay, look, I'm going to say something about Mario Kart, and I don't want you all coming at me at once. I don't think we're going to see another Mario Kart in the lifetime of this generation of the Switch 2. The next Mario Kart will probably be for the Switch 3, if there is a Switch 3. So if this generation lasts 7 or 8 years, this game is going to last 7 or 8 years. I'm just saying. Hey, look. None of that, Ghosty. I'm just saying that this game is going to last you for a very long time. And if you are smart, you didn't pay $80 for it. You paid $30 for it, like I did. You bought it with the console. Anyone that's smart would have bought Mario Kart with the actual console, and it would have cost you $30. $30 for a 7 to 8 year game is actually not bad. Now, if you chose to buy the console and didn't want to pay that extra $30, why is my question. But in the event that you didn't want to pay it, why, again, is my question. But I think Mario Kart is actually a good game. I mean, I've had a lot of fun with it, playing with my nephews. It's been good fun. You buy that game as a bundle. They clearly gave it to you for $30. You had every chance to buy it for $30. Why wouldn't you? A Devastator's coming for me, man. Devastator's coming for me.
Just trying to think that they aren't going to have these $1,000 consoles. I've seen people already pointing out the fact that computer part prices are obviously also going up. $1,000 consoles coming out next year, very likely with 1, maybe 2 actual launch games. To me, it just seems ridiculous, to say the least. I'm not going to buy a PlayStation 6 purely off the idea of, oh...
Yes, he is. 100% he is. My dude shat all over the Nintendo Switch 2. He made every video under the sun saying how shit the Nintendo Switch 2 was, and then bought it day one. This guy literally sleeps with his PS5 or PS5 Pro now, I guess, since considering he sold his old one for $500 to his now wife, I guess, and ripped her off. And he's not going to buy a PlayStation 6? The guy that pretty much salivates over his console? Yeah, he's buying it day one. There is no way on this planet that he is going to convince me that he is not buying it day one. Mate, Bags, I saw someone saying that they wanted to stick their wiener into the PS5 power socket because they loved it so much. Then you've got Nicola also wanting to French kiss the PS5. There's that as well. It seems to be a PlayStation thing with these, you know, wanting to have sexual relations with their consoles, and, you know, power to them. I'm not going to judge. I'll see if I can find it. It was special.
It runs Grand Theft Auto 6 better. I want to actually get, if I am going to go to the next gen, I want to have something that says, hey, here is that crazy cool flashy game that shows you PlayStation actually cares. Xbox actually cares.
Mate, they're just going to give you knack free and you're going to be all over it. I guarantee it.
I don't know. These are just some off the cuff thoughts. Honestly,
knack free is what he's going to get. Knack free. Everyone knows it's knack free. I use my PS5. Look, I'm not going to say the PS5 is, you know, bad. I'm playing Wuthering Waves on my PS5. I played the Nikkei DLC recently. And on Stellar Blade. And Death Stranding. Right? Let me see if I can find that thing. Let me see if I can find it. It might be under replies. It might be under replies. Yeah, it was replies. Because I remember Hamed actually Death Stranding 2 will make you want to F your PS5 Pro. There you go. It only has one socket for you to be able to stick it in. And that is the power socket. Right? You only have one socket where you can put it in. And that is the power. I'm just saying. When I say these things, I don't make it up. Where's the other one? Oh, I thought I had it somewhere. I guess not. I guess not. That's a shame. I thought I had it under receipts. But yeah, it seems to be a special thing when it comes to PlayStation fans. They just... Oh, here it is. Here it is. See? So you've got this dude over here who wants to have intercourse with the PS5. And then you've got this dude over here who wants to have French kissing sessions with his Pro. One that wants to stick their wiener in. And another one that wants to stick their tongue in. I'm telling you, this is like a proper PS5. This is a proper Sony thing. You know, I don't see any of this weird shit coming from any Xbox fans. This one wants to stick his tongue in. And this one wants to stick his wiener in. Well, you're a pony, Devin, so we kind of expect that. How do you post? I don't know. Yeah, Calandros. He's saying that Death Stranding 2 will make you want to bone your PS5. And this one, because he can play Indiana Jones, he wants to go down on the PS5. You know where the drive is? He wants to start licking up and down that slit. You know, getting his tongue right in. Mark, I did not. What did you ask? Let me double check over here. Hey, also, I'm thinking of buying the Steam Deck OLED. Is it worth it? Or the ROG Ally? Okay, so here's the thing with the Steam Deck, right? I have a Steam Deck, and it's a really good machine. And as long as you're okay playing your Game Pass games over the cloud, be it through xCloud or GeForce Now, it's fine. I think the touchpads on there is the real seller, really. The touchpads are great. However, if you want a native experience when it comes to playing your Game Pass games, or have the option, then the ROG Ally is the better option. I have the Steam Deck, and even though I really do like my Steam Deck, I've got the LCD version. My kid keeps taking it, and I'm going to use that as an excuse to get a ROG, because I want Game Pass as a native app on mine. So if you ask me, if Game Pass is important to you, get a ROG. If Game Pass is not important to you, and the fact that you can't play any game that has easy anti-cheat, like Call of Duty, the Steam Deck just won't run it, then you can go with a Steam Deck. There are a number of games the Steam Deck just cannot run because of it's being on Linux. And that means anything that uses easy anti-cheat, like Call of Duty, like Apex, like Genshin Impact, Wuthering Waves, all of these games that are using online multiplayer that use easy anti-cheat, they will not work. As in, you cannot run them. The game just won't boot because it won't get past the validation, because you can't install easy anti-cheat because it needs to access the kernel. So if you want to play every game, get the ROG. If you're okay with playing select games and having cool touchpads, get the Steam Deck. But I would go with the ROG if you want every game, and especially if you want Game Pass. The ROG Ally is more powerful than the Steam Deck, yes. Mark, I hope that's giving you as broader explanation as you need. If you have any more questions, though, feel free to ask. The PS butt plug in. Hey, look, I don't make the rules. Mark, I would wait. So they've got the LIX out right now, and I know that's like $800, £800 or bucks, depending on whether you're in the US. The new Xbox LIX that's coming has the upgraded Z2 chip in there. That's a lot more powerful. I would wait for that to release and see how much it's going to cost. Even if that one is outside of your range of what your budget is, that should knock the price down for the LIX, and you can go for that instead. The LIX right now, this second, is I think the most powerful one out there. It gives you the best performance, best frame rates. But if you wait just a bit more, because apparently, in a few months we should be getting the official release date for the Xbox LIX and the Xbox Li. That will then give you a price point, and the Asus ROG and the ROG the ROG LIX will drop in price, and that might be a better time for you to jump in and buy one. If you only care about Steam, again, if there's any games, for the most part, yes, I would say go Steam Deck. But like I said, if there's any games that are on Steam that uses easy anti-cheat that you regularly play, they will not boot on the Steam Deck, and there's no way around it. So if you play Call of Duty, for example, you can't play it. If you play Genshin Impact, you can't play it. Killer says that. Oh, is she really fun? Isn't she Vault based, Calendros? Yeah, but at that point, Leaf, it's a Russian roulette, right? You're going into it. It might play, it might not play. I just take it as none of them work. Fizz Flame? But they're physical, aren't they? So they're going to do physical attack and not flame. I know flame is the after effect. Now you're selling me on it. I'll have to go check it out. I haven't even logged into it yet. But yeah, so do what you will with these guys, man. It seems to be a thing. You guys thought I was joking. I was not joking. It is the PlayStation way. I'm sorry to say. You can carry me in FCE for that one pull. Yeah, we should be able to do something. I feel like we it's a game again. Yeah. Araxia Warframe drops tomorrow for anyone interested. Nice. I like Warframe. I just never have time for it. It's way too... I just don't have time for grinding games anymore. Well, overly grinding games, I should say. But folks, I think that's going to be it. It was 11:30. I'll leave the other video, the one that we were going to look at for Thursday, which is this one. Or maybe I'll react to it and release it later on. But yeah, I think it's been a good stream. I should be streaming TOF tomorrow, Brick. I'm deciding between streaming that or because I've got a contractual obligation to Sony as well. But I'm probably going to do some TOF tomorrow. But yeah, 8 out of 10 I'm going to be doing TOF. So we should be able to get those clears up. And now I'll do some Death Stranding maybe on the weekend stream. But yeah, folks, that's going to be it for tonight. If you're around tomorrow, I'll be over at Twitch. Hopefully, I will see you there, and we'll have some good time gaming and discuss other stuff. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video or here on Thursday. That's it, folks. Thanks so much thank you for all the memberships and the super chats. It's been awesome. I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next one. As always, peace out. Oh, actually, let me show you something. So let me show you my new stream intro. It's not finished yet per se, but this is a work in progress. It's basically missing the timer, but my kid made this for me. He just came and said, "Hey Dad, check this out. It looks really cool." And I was like, "Okay, let's have a look." So I thought I'd show you guys. Let me know what you think. Let's just open it there. Alright, here we go. Let's transform. But this isn't completely finished. This is just a work in progress. But what do you think? You can't see it, right? No, you can't. So how am I supposed to show you this? How do I show you this, actually? I don't think I can show you. Hey, it is free labor. Let's see. I mean, can you guys see it? Okay, so you can see the flame, right? So it's not finished yet. It's a work in progress. What do you think? So he's been working on this at the background and trying to get it right. I'm gonna get a timer on there, like a 5-minute one and a 10-minute one, so we can have, and then it will kind of disappear with the timer, and then you'll just have stream starting soon. And obviously it's going to be a bit longer, but it's a nice little work in progress that we're doing. He's also made me a bunch of emotes as well, which is really cool, that, you know, I'm going to add into it. So we're doing a lot of revamp, like getting like an intro movie as well and an outro, trying to up production a bit more to make it way more professional. So hopefully you know, you guys will enjoy the extra stuff, the extra emotes and stuff that are going to come your way. But right, that's it, folks. I am out. I will see you next time. Remain legend. Have a good night, folks. And remember, becoming a member is £1 now. We will be reintroducing member nights again soon for gaming. So if you want to take part in that, you can join for as little as $1. Thanks so much. Peace out. And I'll see you later. And don't forget to like and subscribe.